Dr. BCW. I am so excited to introduce you to my next guest. His name is Yuval, and he is just a amazing individual who has done so much just in general in his life. But the reason why I'm excited to introduce you is the work that he's putting forward in respect to music and healing and all of the inner networkings that can happen in that space he's doing. And so I'm going to just read a little bit about him and then, of course, let him introduce himself as well. So Yuval Ron is an award-winning composer who has been involved in the world of music therapy since a commission in 1990 from researcher Robert Monroe of the Monroe Institute for Hemisync Music Composition using binaural beats. He has collaborated with multiple neuroscientists, as well as he's the founding director of the record label Metta Mindfulness Music, which produces quality, intentional healing music for use in clinics and treatment centers worldwide. He has been invited to perform meditative music for the Dalai Lama, as well as numerous master musicians around the world. He has also been invited to speak at numerous schools, including Yale, Johns Hopkins, UCLA, Middlebury College, MIT, and Berklee College of Music. When I talk about just all of the things that he puts forward in respect to music, it really spans not only movies, television, but also, as I mentioned before, he is intentional with wanting to share music and put it forward in a way that can help people heal. And also his music has been really transformational in making change in people's lives in respect to certain illnesses and ailments and diseases that they're dealing with. I am so excited for you to meet Yuval. Welcome to Beyond Clinical Walls. It is a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Dr. BCW. I'm happy to be with you and with your audience. I'm very excited about finding out about your work, which that's the big bonus for me, and talking with you and sharing with you and your audience about the work that I do. So thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
When we connected, I was just really excited to meet someone who, when we talk about music and we know that it can be, as I mentioned before, vital in so many different areas, and what you are doing to ensure that it's available in different mediums to help people, I think is fantastic. The first question I always ask is for you to share why you do what you do. I think that is just always powerful for the listeners to hear.
Yes. The work that I do starts from being in love with sound. As a little kid, I fell in love with the sound of the classical guitar, and I also loved the sound around me, the sound of birds, sound of even machines. Even in a gas station, I would listen to the pumps, the people putting the pump back, and it's and then clack clack, and I would hear those rhythms. So I would tune into rhythms in nature, in the industrial world, in the urban environment, and I was just in love with sound, and that's really what drew me in to be a musician and for music to be my life. And then I found that I had a gift for writing music for the theater. I did the first music for theater when I was 19, and it really transformed the play. And I realized, wow, there's power and magic for the music. It makes the play better. It makes the acting seems more engaging. It makes the audience more engaged emotionally. So I sensed the power of music in the theater. And then I wanted to go into movies and films and TV. So I came to Boston. I was raised and born in Israel, and I came to Boston in 1985 to study music for films, because I thought that just like the power of music in theater, there's power of music in films and TV. And I wanted to know how I can help the directors make the audience really feel deeply the emotions of the story. So I learned how to do that, and I started practicing that and writing music for film and TV, and that brought me to Hollywood, to Los Angeles, and I've written a lot of music for films and TV, and I I won an Oscar for a film in 2007, West Bank Story, and along the line, I met some doctors and neuroscientists, and they asked me if I would be interested to compose music for them, for their patients, for just like I do in movies and TV, in engaging the emotions. How would I do that in order to invoke or bring in the energies or the relaxation or the boost of the immune system with music? And that was a great creative challenge for me. So I love the idea of doing something that could help people on one one basis, just one patient at a time. Each person that listened to the music could be affected, and then I could through that contribute to making the world a better place through having more inner peace, more health, more relaxation, more meditative mode, and better sleep, and all those things. So it's very rewarding, when people write to me all the time in notes and comments and emails about how the music affected their life and well-being. It's the most rewarding thing, really. So that's what I do. That's why I do what I do.
I love that. And, for my listeners, they know when we talk about Beyond Clinic Walls or Dr. BCW, it's about delivering healthcare in a non traditional format and really embracing that health can be of different elements. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's important that we look at those options because it's not a one size fits all. We are all different flavors, different makeups,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever we can do to help someone, whether it's their physical and mental health, which I believe there's cross pollination there,
Mm-hmm.
we should really honor those. Different opportunities to help our inner soul. And I think music is so vital and is often not utilized as much as it should be. And, in my practice,
Indeed.
a lot of people have heard me say, Yuval, that I use that as a prescription. I share that with my patients, that I
Uh-huh.
think it's so important and it's a part of my practice. And not only is it a part of my practice, but when I'm in clinic, those who have seen me in my little office, I always have music going on.
Uh-huh.
And so
Excellent.
I think it's something that should be weaved into our fabric throughout our lives. And so I love that you have not only help the world through, of course, the amazing movies and television shows, but also through that individual piece of, helping people in different times of their lives through the
Mm.
music that you create. And so one thing that I want to have listeners hear about is your work within the 40 hertz space and how you've been able to really identify
Mhm.
changes that can happen in cognition from that. So,
Yes.
can you share with the listeners about that?
Yes, this is very exciting breakthrough in brain science and in sound therapy science, and it started in New York, in one of the universities. They observed that people that are older and have cognitive impairment, when they start losing memory and all that, they notice that their brain does not vibrate anymore in a very high range of brain waves called gamma, which is the highest, fastest vibration, which is connected with when our brain goes to intuitive mode, like when we are in our intuition, when we, let's say, have to go to a foreign city and find our way without a map. We just have to feel where the train station is. We can ask people, but we don't really have any map, and we never been there before. We have to kind of use our animal sense and our animal intuition, to get by, and our brain goes to that. Some spiritual meditative activities relates to that, and that is a very fast vibration in our brain pulsating very fast. It's faster pulsation than when we are now conversing. We are in our intellectual brain mode, and that's called beta. and gamma is much faster. So the tricky thing was that the gamma pulsation wave is between 30 hertz, which means 30 pulsation a second, to 100 hertz, which is 100 pulsation a second. And between 30 and 100, there are 70 frequencies, 70 speeds of brain activity. And they didn't know, the researchers didn't know really, okay, which is the magic bullet, which is the magic vibration that it really makes a difference for the cognitive. They just knew that these people that start losing their memory, their brain just didn't vibrate anymore in that range, but they didn't know really where is the concept was that maybe we can give those vibrations back to to those people and get their brain to to recall memory again, but they didn't know which frequencies. It's 30 to 100. So MIT team, a laboratory in MIT, took on that challenge, and they start testing mice that had a particular memory of where the food is, and then the memory got impaired, and they nailed down in MIT. They nailed down the frequency to 40 hertz, which means 40 pulsation a second, and they found that when they fed that pulsation to the mice through their eyes, through pulsating light that is pulsating 40 times a second, which is very fast. It just looked to us like a bright light. We don't see even the 40 pulsation because it's so fast. And also there's audio pulsation. So 40 pulsation through audio, it just sounds like a bass tone. Or so they fed those pulsations to the brain of the mice, and they saw that their memory ability, their cognitive function improved. It was an amazing breakthrough. Through that, they found that that 40 hertz vibration is starting again the cleaning crew that cleans up the memory pathways in the brain from the plaque, from just junk stuff that sits on those memory pathways. And our normal brain have the capacity to clean all the time. There are cleaning crew, especially when we sleep. Our cleaning crew in our brain takes care of this little plaque that falls on our memory pathways. But when we get older, some of us, many of us, unfortunately, that cleaning crew stopped working. We don't know why. The 40 hertz sound and light pulsation restart the cleaning crew, and the plaque is being cleaned from the pathways. It's also found that it increases blood flow in the brain, which is very important for healing from trauma. So now they use that 40 hertz for helping people heal and recover from brain traumas, to recover from cognitive decline in the early stages, and people who suffer from chronic pain, fibromyalgia, and it's also contributed to focus and concentration. And so this is all the information that I got from the scientists. And they said to me, look, we are just putting people in headphones for an hour a day listening to that bzzz. Couldn't you possibly compose music in that key that will be harmonizing and featuring that tone of 40 hertz, and make it into a beautiful music that people could enjoy listening and receiving that medicine of that, basically a massage. It's a brain massage at 40 pulsation a second, which is found to be very healthy and beneficial. So that was the challenge, and the very exciting entry for me into that particular front of sound and the brain. And I've been working on creating music in different musical styles. And we found out that 40 hertz, 40 pulsations a second, that tone does not exist on the piano. It falls in between the keys. Our piano, all of our music is tuned. We tune our instrument in a way that 40 hertz is just not part of the sounds that we have on our Western instruments, which is a system that was just created 200 years ago of how to tune instruments. And so I had to tune the instruments lower so the strings are looser and the sound tend to be warmer and looser sound, and that yield the correct tuning for that 40 hertz sound to be part of the music. And I compose music that is all around that tone. And we created so far three albums. Of one is it's called the Healing Power of 40 Hertz, Volume 3. It's all jazz piano ballads, soothing jazz piano ballads in that style, in that key of 40 hertz. Then we created kind of Eastern music, world music with Indian instruments and Persian instruments. We created some new age music, and now we're working on a classical piano album and a vocal choral singing album, which I'm going to record in January at Brigham Young University in Utah, which have incredible choir, and they're going to sing the world premiere of the very first, as far as I know, the very first choral piece ever composed at 40 hertz and going to be recorded, and then we could release it so people could use it. And the beautiful thing about the usage of it, my colleague and the initiator of this project, Dr. Richard Gold of Metta Mindfulness Music, he told me that he would like to democratize the use of music for healing. He wanted, so I asked, what do you mean by democratizing it? And he said that everybody could get the music and use it. So it's available not as a pharmaceutical, expensive product where we build the music into a big plastic machine that distribute the music, and you have to pay a lot of money for that device that music is only in that device. And basically, so we release this music everywhere, on Spotify, on YouTube, on Apple Music, everywhere on the internet that people could listen to it. It's also available on metamindfulnessmusic.com, and they give it, they let people download it in high quality, where it's higher quality than what you get on YouTube and on Spotify and Apple Music, which is a streaming quality. um, and the approach is, rather than, you see, Dr. Gold and Metta Mindfulness Music could have approached this whole project and the other medical healing sounds project as a product, a pharmaceutical product, as a medicine that we have to charge a lot of money for, and we make it exclusive. Or they could have taken the route, which they did choose, is to release it as music, just like a music artist release music, which is very low cost and it's available for everybody, and everybody can apply it to their own life.
I think that is so powerful, democratizing it, sharing it. Often I talk about new developments, different things that are available in healthcare, but often what isn't socialized is we talk about these new developments, but we forget that it's not always available to everyone. And when we talk about equity within health, how can we share these new developments, these new things that can really make a difference in someone's health, mental status, everything? And that really comes down to making it accessible, equitable to
Mhm.
everyone. And that was an important piece of why I wanted you on Beyond Clinical Walls, because I love that intent of being able to share that with everyone, because that's how we're going to move that needle when we talk about
Mhm.
helping and
Right,
addressing inequities and
right.
disparities. Here you have this amazing finding. Our instruments at this time they're not able to achieve that 40 hertz. And so you took it a step further and you were able to get it and then find a way to package it in a way that is available to
Right,
everyone. And
right,
that is
right,
so amazing.
right. Yeah, because the tricky thing is, if you give this music to a company that makes devices for improving memory or something, and they tell people, "Oh, plug the headphones to that device and pay a few $100s for that device," and you can get the music only on that device that you pay a lot of money for, they would disallow us to release it anywhere else. It would not be available on YouTube and on Apple Music, on Spotify, and on everywhere on the internet for as a listening music. It would not be available as music. They would define it as medicine, and we chose the route to release it as music, as a song, and not tied to an exclusive device that is available only for one company. You see, and that was a big decision. It was a big decision for the record company, you know, and they chose to treat it as music, and they see it as that's the democratic choice to release it as music and make it available everywhere that music is available in the world. And so, you know, we still have some obstacles. For example, logistical obstacles. You need headphones, you need a digital phone or a computer or a stereo system, or you need to be able to get the music from the internet and listen to the music. But that is a lot more millions of people than if it would be locked into a device that you can buy only from one pharmaceutical company. So so it's a big step, and that's really inspired by Dr. Gold. Was his leadership. I was just thinking about how exciting this music is that could do these things in the brain, and I was just in the creative challenge of how can I do music in 40 hertz. And Dr. Gold thought about the concept that he wants to democratize it. He doesn't want to limit it and make it a patent or make it a this or that. So that's where we are. And I think it's interesting that you really champion that direction of democratizing medicine, and so I'm very glad that we're talking about this. This is real example, so anybody can look it up. They can look my name, Yuval, and 40 hertz. They can look at the healing power of 40 hertz, volume 3, volume 2, volume 1. They can just Google it and they're going to find it. They can listen to it right away.
Which is amazing. The fact that, we hear about new developments and different things, and sometimes it's like, oh, it's going to be a couple of months or a year, but
Yeah.
everyone listening right now has the opportunity. Please check it out. It's available on on
Right,
demand,
right.
and it's a way to give yourself a gift of healing, mental, just all of those pieces that you can give towards yourself and your whole family, because sometimes we forget when we do listen to music, it's everyone around us that gets to hear that. But
Mhm,
the other piece is the after effect,
mhm.
where whatever you have been able to receive from that music, and whether it's your mood, your outlook on life, all of those things are able to come forward with the interactions and the people that you meet moving forward. And so
Yeah,
it's a ripple effect that can help so many people, even just in your everyday life,
right.
and, those that you may meet weeks or
Yeah,
years to come. And
yeah.
I think that is so special. Well, I also wanted, Yuval, for you to take a couple of minutes to talk about your nonprofit and what you do in that respect as far as sharing music as well.
Yes, thank you for asking about this. This is another baby, that I cultivate, and it's called Inspired Sound Initiative. Inspiredsoundinitiative.org. It's a foundation that I started in 2016 to bring inspiring, empowering music and dance and storytelling to youth at risk and communities that are impoverished and cannot really uh, get these kind of educational music and dance activities, that they're no longer able to buy tickets to the symphony hall and go and see some great master musician that may inspire them. What we do is we raise money from grants and from sponsors, and we pay master musicians to go to neighborhoods that would not be able to afford those kind of great musicians and dancers, and to educate and to inspire and to empower the kids and the adults, the family members, with these music and dance. And we do that mostly in Los Angeles, but also in Colorado, in Boston, in New York. We've done also projects in Armenia and in India, in places. I'll give you an example. School in India where, you know, the, it's so sad that the parents don't want their kids to go to school, and the only way the school can get the kids to come to school is by offering them meals, 3 meals a day, and then the parents agree. That was the way that they got the parents to agree, and then the kids got education thanks to that. So it's we went there, and we did a workshop there with the children, and people were so inspired. The mayor came, and spiritual leaders from all different tradition came to my workshops, and after they came to me and said, we have to bring you to Kashmir. And Kashmir is a place of war between India and Pakistan. It's a region that has a lot of tension, a lot of um, conflicts, and they said, oh, we should bring this workshop to Kashmir. They saw it as such a healing experience for their community that they said, let's take it to the hardest place in our country, which is Kashmir. And I said, let's do it. Let's talk and work on that. And so that's what we do with Inspired Sound. So if people want to get involved with this, they can look it up, Inspired Sound Initiative, and we're all volunteers, including myself and all my board members. We all volunteers. We pay only for the teaching artists. The educators are the one who get paid, and beside of that, we have no other costs. Everything goes to the educators, and we pay reasonable rates. So in a way, we support the educators and the artists, while also empowering and inspiring youth at risk and underserved communities.
And as a health equity advocate, Yuval, when I hear that story about how you mentioned in India, how you had to have, the meals for the families to allow their children to come. And I think that's an important piece to mention. I have often shared, when we talk about being able to combat mistrust or different things that might be barriers in certain
Mhm.
families and communities, different countries, we have to take a step back and think about why that community or that group is not able to participate. Even if you have the most robust program, the best
Mhm.
access, and so forth, it's taking that step and thinking, okay, why is this not successful? What is preventing certain groups from participating? And I think if we could all be more intentional in looking at those areas, that's how we're really going to meet people where they are. It's listening, identify those
Mhm.
things that are barriers, because maybe that family doesn't have enough money to feed. And so they
Exactly.
need to have their kids work. And so
Exactly.
you took that step to allow, the delivery
Right.
of this
Right.
opportunity. And I think that is
Right.
so powerful. And it's a message that
Yeah.
should resonate through so many different things. So I just want
Right.
to
Yeah.
thank you for joining me today on Beyond Clinical Walls. Of course, I'm going to have some links in the comments and so forth to share with everyone. You can definitely find Yuval at metamindfulnessmusic.com, as well as the metamindfulnessmusic.com Lections Brain Health and Yuval Ron Music. And of course, I'll have the entire links so you can
Wonderful.
find it easily. In closing, I just want to again say thank you for all the great work that you're doing in the space of health, music, and really giving back to communities and the opportunity to get to know music, because that part can be so important. I grew up listening to music in all from the morning to the night, and I do the same with
Great.
my family, and that stemmed from my
Great.
father, who made sure it was just a part of my everyday life.
Excellent.
And I think it's an amazing gift that
Yes.
everyone should be able to enjoy. Thank you
Yes.
again, Yuval, for joining me.
Thank you,
And
Dr. Dario.
oh,
Thank
absolutely.
you. I just want to mention that Metta, it was Metta Mindfulness Music. It's with double T. A lot of people think
Yes,
one T,
thank
but it's
you.
double T. Metta Mindfulness music. And my last comment, I can't resist by just telling you that I think that your father, with all the good things that he contributed to you, also the music, the fact that he surrounded you with music, I feel, it's just my intuition, that it contributes to your joy, that you are really have a in inside joy that just is always there. And I think the music has part of that.
Thank you, Yuval. I appreciate that. That
Welcome.
touches my heart.
Welcome.
There's so many songs and different things that
Yes.
I can I think about him, and for most
Yeah.
people who are listening, they know my father recently passed away, but
Mm.
there he breathes, he lives in me with music and different
Yes.
memories, and there's definitely an overlay, a very strong overlay there, that
Yes.
is a part of my heart and soul. So thank you for bringing that forward.
Thank you.
I
I
am
feel.
grateful.
Yeah.
So in
Me
closing, as everybody knows, I always like to lean into gratitude. I appreciate everyone just taking the time to listen and hear Yuval's story and all of the great work he's doing. And as always, thank you for watching and listening to Beyond Clinical Walls. This is Dr. BCW. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss my next upload. And if you found this information helpful, please hit the thumbs up. It really helps the channel. As always, thanks for watching and thank you for your support.